This is the Gala Hispanic Theater in Columbia Heights. Today, the screening of Tryouts, an award-winning short film by Spanish filmmaker Susana Casares.
Tryouts.
So my name is Susana Casares and I come from Barcelona in Spain, and I'm here to present my short film Tryouts at this beautiful theater here in Washington. There's many things that inspire me. I've been for a long time working on this idea of identities that collide in a way. Having a specific religion and exercising it within the framework of the American culture can be a challenge, especially when you're young and you don't know exactly what you are yet. So that was for me the most interesting aspect to explore. This idea of belonging and trying to be part of something that may contradict what you are. For me, the idea of heritage is something that is very interesting, and where we choose our heritage, what do we decide is our heritage individually, but also as a country or as a culture. So, and when I found Kimia, I found her 10 days before the shoots was scheduled to start, and she didn't know how to cheer. She was not a Muslim, and she had never acted before other than in school, like in high school. So on the second day of shoot, when we shot the first scenes, and we kind of shot chronologically so that she could evolve with the character. And on the second day, after the second day, the father came to me very emotional, and he told me that it was very hard for him, but at the same time beautiful to see his daughter with a headscarf, because his family comes from Iran, and they had moved out of Iran when he was younger because he didn't want his daughters to be raised having to wear hijab and with a specific interpretation of Islam. Through the short film, they were able to kind of break that wall and start talking about their heritage with their daughters. And I thought it was a beautiful, and for me it was really strong as well too, because the whole reason why I made a film like this, or why I make any film, is so that there's dialogue that emerges that can help us understand each other better.
It's a fitting coincidence that this film is being presented in this venue. The story of the theater is also a story about changing identities and the tension between heritage and modernity.
This building was created in 1924, and it was a really successful theater. We had 2,500 seats, imagine. People were proud about this wonderful theater for the arts, as they called them.
But as the suburbs sprawled around the cities, the original dwellers of the neighborhood began to move to suburbia. It was the white flight. By the end of the 1950s, Columbia Heights was a predominantly black neighborhood.
After the death of Martin Luther King, it was the whole area was destroyed by the fires and the rioting. But they took care of this particular theater because they were so proud of it. But with the years, it started to be forgotten, and by 2000 was really pretty much dilapidated. So the city decided to give it away, to sell it to a developer. It was a lot of effort that we put in this theater. We're very proud, and especially because it belongs to our community, to the Hispanic community in Washington, D.C.
I'm really delighted to be back in here, seeing how well it's been kept up over the last 10 years.
The Tivoli suffered decades of neglect and was very close to being demolished. Then it was restored and transformed into its present form.
If you look at the ceiling of this theater here now, there's a very large plaster medallion. I mean, this to me is just breathtaking, because this is a version of the picture that I took in 2002, and when I took it, these seats were all gone. and like half of this medallion had basically, rotted and fallen to the ground. My main job is as an architectural photographer, and early on in my career, I did a lot of work with developers. I did a lot of work, in Columbia Heights and in the neighborhoods like Columbia Heights that in the early 2000s were what I call underdeveloped. So, at the time that I was photographing, I'd face out south, and, that was a giant empty lot. And, that dark red building was an empty lot. That was a community garden with cabbage and corn stalks and tomatoes, a couple of old cars. I keep saying it, but it's a wonder that they restored it. People don't build like that anymore.
The Tivoli continues to change with the times, now finding a new identity as a center for Hispanic arts and offering a chance for filmmakers like Susana Casares to showcase their work.
Yeah, and I'm really excited presenting my short film at the wonderful Nueva Ola event.